It's like the cookie cutter analogy. It's like we work a lot with technology in business, and many times you buy an off-the-shelf solution and you have to kind of shove yourself into it. Well,
Yeah.
I don't work under that mentality. My mentality is design how you want to operate, design what that business looks like. Where are you now? So if we talk about team and org chart, create that now org chart. And you'll
Mm,
probably got, if you are just started or early days still, or maybe you all just want to be a solopreneur, your name is in all those boxes. But say in 5, 10 years, if you know and you can visualize that marketing is not your thing or sales is not your thing, and you've got, Joe's name in that box now, you can start to see that pathway and you can actually
mm,
plan. Awareness is the key to all success. We
yeah.
make decisions based on the data. Bring in the dorky geek in me, not dork,
Do
but the geek
it,
in
do
me. I
it.
love it. Love a bit of data.
Yeah.
I was talking with a client about that just yesterday. If you've got the data behind you, you can make educated decisions, even words. It's
Yeah.
January still, so we're still getting our tongues
Don't
back in
worry,
our
I
mouth.
might need another coffee as well already today.
Exactly. And yeah, I think then it will actually help you collecting that evidence, seeing that visualization of what it is, and being able to take that one next step that moves you closer to what that's going to be.
Yeah, and it really interests me, getting nerdy for a second and
Do it,
measuring
lean
your
in.
everything.
Yeah.
We had our first CEO time call this week, which is basically our monthly accountability call, so people can check their metrics, plan ahead. And we had a new member come in. It's just like, I've never measured anything before. Like, I've not
Yeah.
really done this. And I was like, people, it doesn't matter how long you're in business, there are still people who don't measure all of the important things in their business. And look, I'm on the side of simple kind of person. I don't think you need to measure literally, everything, but there are just some really key things in a business that if you do measure and if you do have access to that data, it does make those decisions so much easier to make. And it does also, I find, take the emotion out of the decision. Sometimes I think I said this on another podcast, but I was like, when I go to my husband and go, oh my God, the world's falling apart, my business sucks. And he's like, okay, well, what do the numbers say? How did we go last through it? And because he's a GM, so he's a business guy.
Gets it.
He gets it. And I'll say, oh, well, and rattle off the numbers. And he's like, oh, so it's not actually bad at all. It's funny
So you're
how
not falling off a cliff. You're
we're not
actually
falling off a cliff
okay.
at all. Everything's
Yeah.
fine. But it is funny how if you don't have those metrics and you
Yeah.
don't have that data, that it is so easy to just kind of make decisions on a whim or, I guess, knee jerk a little bit based on our emotions. Whereas if we do have access to that data, we can be a lot more informed and educated and know that we're on the right path towards whatever the goal is.
And our mind is such a powerful tool,
Mm.
and it's very good at creating these silent stories
Yeah,
that
these
actually,
dramas.
oh yeah, and when you're a creative mind as well, I think you've got it's like full, 4D, whatever the most, high
Mm.
def visuals of what's going on. And if
Mm.
you ask yourself, well, what is the evidence to back that up? And if you are looking at your numbers or whatever it is that metric, how is my team actually performing well? I'm checking in with them in the weekly huddles we're having, and we're doing this and that. And actually, they're saying that they're happy with what's going on. Or the client feedback. I know in the past I've been really amazing at imagining that I've done a really shit job. Excuse the swearing if I'm not allowed to
Yeah,
swear.
go
That's
for it,
probably
go
not
for
a
it, go
swear.
for it.
Um, it's so like PG.
Very
I'm like,
welcome on
oh.
this podcast.
Yeah. But you imagine these stories of like, oh, under delivered, of this, that, and the other. And then you get this
Mm.
email through, and it's just like, I had one this week. Thank you so much for everything you've done. You've transformed the way our business is operating. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah,
Yeah, I do know what I'm doing.
yeah, I can back myself. Yeah. Talking about the awareness and the data, I think it's around what is the standards that we're holding ourselves to. So
Yes.
my husband and I, it's on the personal side, not business, but it's relative across both. We've actually committed this year to having our own finance and home meetings
Oh,
where we
I
go
love that.
through, we look at the cash flow, we look at this, we make decisions on our meals for the next fortnights and all these sorts of things, the household standards that, are really important as a human to function, to then come in and show up the best way you need to and you want to in a business to serve your clients and your communities and all of that sort of thing. So, really understanding for you as a business leader, what are the standards? What is the standard for you, but what is the standard for the business as a whole? Are you going to
Mm.
allow your team to come in and do X, Y, Z? Or is it actually up here? And really supporting them and communicating them with your team to understand why that's important to you in the business. Yeah.
I love that. And look, and I think though it will feel a bit scary for
Oh,
some
yeah.
people. Is there, if somebody's listening right now and they're kind of feeling a little all over the place, is there anywhere that you would start with a business? So when you go into a business and you've defined that vision, this is where we're going, this is our measure of success. When it comes to those metrics, those processes, the team, like, is there somewhere that you start if someone's coming in and going, oh my God, everything's a
Yeah.
little all over the place?
Every business is so different.
Mm.
But we have a process called the business operational diagnostics, saying it a little bit, you know,
Ooh, love
and we're
it.
high level view,
Yep.
right? We want to know, what is your mission and vision? Do you
Mm.
have the financial rhythms in place? What is your now org chart? What is your future org chart? What are those visions that you're wanting to create? And then we go into the tactile. So what are you using? How are you doing it? Who's in the zoo? What's the pain? What are the obstacles? What's got you here that's stopping you from moving forward? And I
Mm.
think having that big picture, then again, it's that awareness piece. Then you can make
Yeah.
those informed decisions. If you are sitting there though, and you're like, Nicole, that just sounds like a whole freaking huge thing, take a piece of paper out outside, big space, please go outside in a big space, blue sky. Hopefully you're not in Melbourne. Well, it's nice today, but blue sunny sky, and just dump it out, get it out of your brain. Think about all those things that are going on in there. Where are we at with this silo of the business? Finances, what are we doing here? Technology, what are we doing here? HR, what's happening there? Wish list, obstacles, and then all of a sudden it's going to start to see. You're going to know, feel that gut feel, what's actually
Mm.
happening in your business. Because we're very good at the blinkers going on, like the horses,
Yeah.
blinkers, the avoidance techniques when things are feeling a little bit challenging. I really encourage you, if you're feeling anything about avoidance, is just be really curious. What's
Yeah.
going on there? Why am I feeling like this? What is it that if I move that out of the way would make that next thing easier for me?